Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Okay, cool. What's up, Kenny?
It's the right side where, like, above the ESPN.
Yeah, I'm gonna take care of it right now.
Because part of it gets covered by the head. That's too high. I think just that if you want to get more of that, but the see the top right.
Oh, right down here.
The bottom left, I think it's the top right.
Oh, I see. In the corner.
Yeah, that'll wire you right there. Yep, that's as far right there. Nothing better. They just have that in the utility room next to the bathroom.
Huh?
Do they just have that in that?
I steal it from makeup. Because why not? They're not using it right now.
Well, hello. Welcome to Fight Week. Does it feel different knowing that you're the main event and the star of the show?
Definitely.
Oh,
So definitely feels a little bit different, feels special, like I think it's the spot that I always wanted to be, the main event, the face of the show. So I think I deserve the spot for the work I've been doing inside the octagon and outside the octagon. I think the UFC got it, and here we are. So definitely feels special. I'm grateful and thankful for the spot.
is there any extra pressure knowing that all eyes are on you this week?
No, every time there was all eyes on me in every fight that I did, there's always pressure when you work in a high-level sport. When you work in this position, there's always pressure on you. So same pressure as always, but I thrive under pressure. I just rise it, and I know that pressure is a privilege, as I always said. Being in this position is the position that every fighter in the world wants to be. So I'm privileged, So that's how I feel about pressure.
How different was training for this fight than maybe some of your past fights, or was it different at all?
Oh, definitely a little bit different, because it was 5-round fight, So I came early to Vegas, so I've been here for the past 3 weeks with my team, and definitely pushed the pace a little bit more. Definitely it was a hard camp, but it was the best camp of my life, So 5-round fights, I'm ready to go there, push the pace up, and show the work that I've been doing.
What do you think of your opponent?
Oh, Gerald, I respect him a lot. I think he's a scary dude, as I said in my interview in the UFC Rio. And I think he's a very experienced guy, very explosive, has power in his hands. He knows how to take the fight where he wants to go. And definitely an experienced guy that faced a lot of tough opponents. So all respect to Gerald, but it's my time now.
I'm just curious what your thoughts are on the fight itself. Do you anticipate? I know everybody plans for the full 5 rounds, but do you anticipate having to go the full 5 rounds with him, or do you think this fight will end early?
I think it can go either way. It just depends how prepared he is to the fight, how much he wants, Like at 4 years old, let's see how much he wants to stay in the position that he is, to go again to the belt or something like that. I'm prepared. I work my ass off to this fight, So I think I deserve this victory. And let's just see how it's gonna come, how prepared it's gonna come, and let's see if he can take the 5 rounds with me. I'm gonna push the pace up. I'm gonna make the rhythm high all the time on this fight, and let's see how he behaves on the fight. So it only depends on him now, and if he comes very well prepared, as he always came, I think it's gonna be a great fight. But I'm prepared to knock him out or finish him because I have the ground game, and he doesn't have that much. So. Let's see how Gerald comes.
I'm curious if you could tell me what you thought of the UFC 305 main event.
It's crazy, this one, because I always, I think in all Draco's fight, I always bet against him. And it's crazy how bad he is, but how he makes it work. It's crazy how he makes it work. Props to him. Man, I just need to congratulate him, because even with a bad technique, bad game plan, like crazy style, he always makes it work, and he's winning. He's undefeated in the UFC, so he deserves the spot that he is right now. And looking forward, for sure, I'm just thinking about Gerald. I don't want to be thinking about anything else, but looking forward to get this fight.
And there was a fun little middleweight appetizer at PFL for some UFC fighters in the casino. I wonder if you saw that video, what you thought of that.
These guys are crazy, I don't know if they were just like marketing or any shit like that, but I don't know, Yeah, no words actually. Like it's not my style, to go there and play around these stupid games and go there and try to fight or pretend to fight or actually fight outside the octagon and stuff like that. But because we're professionals, like we inspire a lot of people. I have my son here with me and everything. So this is not an example that I want to give people, that I want to give to the world. So definitely crazy guys, but they call attention, that's all.
And last question for me. I saw you were at CGI
Yeah.
last weekend. I'm curious what you thought of it.
It was an amazing event. I think Craig Jones is a marketing genius. He did awesome. I think it just made the sport grow. It was better for the sport. It was better for the athletes having ADCC and CGI together. And I think it was a great event. He made two new guys, two new millionaires. So it definitely changed lives of two families at least. But I think they deserve the sport. Grappling is getting a good spot in the combat sports, and yeah, definitely. And looking forward to competing in one of those.
Thank you.
I may be wrong, but I think this is the first time that the Fighting Nerds has headlined an event.
Yeah.
Do you really feel like this is the fight that's going to put the Fighting Nerds on the map, that people, if they don't know already, they'll really understand who the Fighting Nerds is right now?
Kind of. I think we're already on the map, I think everybody knows our condition and our quality. We've been doing good with not just me, but all the other guys. You just saw what Carlos Prates did against a tough opponent in the Saturday. You just see what Jean Silva did, what Bruno Brazil did with Molly McCann, with Rufy did in his debut, So definitely we're already on the map. We're already on the site of everybody. But definitely this main event is going to push us even higher, I think so.
And last one for me. A lot of people might look at Gerald's age and think that maybe he's not as dangerous or as bad as he was earlier on. Do you still envision that he's as good as he's ever been?
I think so. I think he's still bad. He's still scary. He's still tough guy. He's still even more experienced guy, Let's see just how much he wants. That's the only thing that is on question on this fight, because I know he's still dangerous. He still has power on his hand, but let's see just how much he wants. Thank you.
Kyle, what makes the Fighting Nerds so different from other gyms? Because, man, you guys are on a roll right now.
Man, I don't know. I think the teamwork. We have a lot of guys that work in the same thing with the same dream, like all the coaches, all the managers, all the strength conditioning coach, nutritionists, doctors. We work together as one, so there's no ego involved in our team, And I think a good philosophy for the team. Everybody that comes into the team knows how to behave inside the octagon and outside the octagon. They know the style of the Fighting Nerds too. The fighting style that we have, it's almost always the same. Calm, collected. Distance control. So everybody that comes in, they already know what to work on. And we approach this job in a different way. Like we study not only trading punches. We study all the other aspects of the game, and the results are there for people to see.
The top of the middleweight division is getting very crowded, and there's a case for everyone up there to get a next title shot. Who do you think should get it next? Obviously, Dana thinks Sean should get it. Dreykus thinks Robert Whittaker should get it. There's Hamzat if he beats Robert Whittaker. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
If I'll be honest, I think Brandon Allen is one of the guys that deserves the shot because he's, I think, 7 or 8 straight victories, straight wins. He was supposed to fight a top 5 guy in his last fight. The guy got injured, and then he took a fight against Curry that was number 15, so he took a lot of risk on that. I think he's doing a great job inside the octagon. I think he just needs to do a better job outside the octagon, when marketing and all this stuff, social media and all this stuff. And he did with Vettori, So definitely, I think he's the guy that really deserved that. I think Sean deserved that too because he already faced Adesanya, won Adesanya. He already faced Dricus, and I think he won that fight. So I think he deserves a rematch too. So I think these are the 2 guys that deserve the most, And me, after a great win against Cannonier, I'm gonna prove that I can be the next contender. And the mantra of the fight against Paul Craig was that I was going to knock him out, and I did it. And the mantra on this fight is that I'm going to show everyone the new champ arrived.
And finally, for me, what do you think Israel Adesanya should do after his loss to DDP? Do you think you should fight him next after Jared? Do you think he should take a step back? Like, what do you think he should do?
Adesanya was very dominating guy in his age, in his time when he was a champion. He's very good. He's still very good, very great striking and everything. I don't know if he can take like he needs to take me after the fight or anything like that. I don't know if he's gonna want to do this kind of fights, or if he wants to go and do super fights or any other thing like that. If he's gonna retire or not, he said he's not going, but I don't think he's fighting soon. So let's see what the futures holds for him. I have a lot of respect for him. He inspired me a lot when he was a champion and was just an up-and-coming guy. But if the time comes to fight him, I'm ready. Thank you.
Thank you, bud, for taking the time.
Yeah.
We see you so much, whether it be in the cage or out, and I've seen you at Apex plenty of times, but now that you're that guy on that poster and you're going to just get so much more attraction to your brand, what was the reaction like initially when you talked to the manager, whomever, and said, okay, here's the contract, but look who's at the top of it?
Man, it was a crazy reaction. I was with my father and my grandfather on my side, and my manager, Ivan Jatoba, he called me and said, Caio, he called me Caio, main event against Gerald Cannonier. I was like, fuck yeah, man, like we asked it and we received, like I think it's the spot that I deserve to be in, all the time that when I was the co-main event and doing fight here in the Apex and everything, I was always the guy with most interviews, with most media things inside the whole event, even more than the main event. So I think it's the spot that I deserve. I always wanted to be in this spot, and now it's just everything coming to reality. I was just happy as fuck. Like this is what we need.
So with that being said, it obviously feels like everything is on track. Besides baby being born and that feeling of like being a father now, how great is it that the UFC recognizes your hard work and they're like, you know what, this is the guy that we can call to put on a main event on ESPN Plus, and he will deliver.
It's good, man. It feels good, like now I'm in a different part of my life being a father. He's here with me. He's sleeping over there. And the most important thing of my life right now, everything that I do is for him and my family, So I'm not just a young guy that just came to the UFC and trying to do things, Now I have a family to fulfill, have a family to feed, I have all people that inspires on me, and definitely a lot more responsibility, but definitely the place that I want to be, I want to inspire people, I want to keep doing this, and I think the UFC put me in the spot to keep doing what I'm doing, So definitely feel grateful and thankful for the UFC to believe me like that and to put me in this position, and I'm going to make it all worth it, I'm going to deliver.
That's awesome, man. What a crazy 2024, the family growing, being the main event. How was it like getting ready for this main event, to acclimate to the 25 minutes? Any specific sparring partners for Jared? Someone who could be explosive, if need be, just can be a great wrestler, grappler, like just getting everything fine-tuned for him.
Like it was a crazy camp actually, because I got this fight 2 days before I fly to Manchester to corner Bruna Brazil in her fight against Molly McCann. And then I knew that I needed to be training there, and I was already training 3 or 4 weeks prior to that, So after that, I went to Manchester with her. I trained her, and I was doing my training too. I brought a partner there, so definitely I was preparing myself, doing everything that I needed to do. Then after that, I came straight to Vegas. So I've been here for the past 3 weeks with my team. So I bring everybody. We got a big Airbnb. The broadcaster got to me, and so we got a big Airbnb, and it was definitely a hard camp. It was definitely a camp that pushed me a lot, I needed to dig through, dig deep, in this training camp because it's 5 rounds, and I don't want just to go there and fight 5 rounds. I wanted to push the pace 5 rounds. I'm gonna make the pace high. I want to get Jared tired. So I needed to dig deep, but it was the best camp of my life. It's been the best weight cut of my life. I will be the bigger version of myself on Saturday. So bigger and better version of myself on Saturday. This guy is gonna see.
Excellent. Well, congrats on the opportunity.
Thank you.
And I wait to see you on Saturday.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Nombre. Sí, te digo.
Hola. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Michael? Bueno, al fin, nuevamente, después de casi un año, tienes tu pelea. Preguntarte primero cómo ha estado tu campamento durante todo este tiempo, para empezar.
First of all, finally, you're here after almost a year fighting again. So, gonna ask, how was your camp to prepare for this fight?
Muy bien, creo que ha sido un campamento muy completo, casi 10 meses de campamento por así decirlo, entonces fue un poco largo, pero pues más que listo. Aproveché las oportunidades que tuve de entrenar con el campeón también, Belal. Fue muy bueno el campamento, creo que he aprendido mucho, más que nada, pero sobre todo siento que llegamos más completos ahora para esta pelea.
Justamente hablarte
Voy a traducir a la gente. So yeah, it was long. I mean, it's almost 10 months worth of camp, but I think it was very complete. I think I feel very prepared, and also there was the opportunity to fight with a champ, Bilal, and help him in his camp. So very ready and very prepared for this fight.
Justamente hablarte de esto, lo que fuiste con Belal, ¿qué nomás cuál fue tu rol en este campamento que fue para el campeón?
I wanted to actually speak about that. About your training with Bilal, what was your role in actually training with the man who became a champion?
Pues más que nada Belal se interesó mucho por mi distancia, mi estilo ortodoxo de pelear. Él sabía que la primera vez que fui a conocerlo, pues el primer camp que hicimos fue por parte del coach Mike que me había invitado y le gustó mucho mi lucha, le gustó mucho la lucha, los roles que dábamos, todo eso. Entonces me invitó al segundo campamento para esta pelea que tuvo, porque Edwards y yo tenemos un estilo no tan parecido, por así decirlo, pero la distancia, la altura, todo eso coincidía, entonces eso le gustó mucho a él. Creo que complementamos mucho la lucha, más que nada la pared, cómo lo levantó y todo, ya todo estaba planeado, por así decirlo. Fue una estrategia muy buena la de él. Belal es una persona súper humilde. Para los que no lo conocen en persona, él es una persona muy humilde, es carismático, más que nada trabajador. Entonces todo eso traté de absorber de él. Es una persona que sí o sí aprendes de él, tienes que aprender de él. Y pues estoy muy orgulloso prácticamente. Ayudé un poquito con un granito de arena, ¿no?, a entrenar al actual campeón. Y pues es una oportunidad también que no iba a desaprovechar entrenar ahí.
Totalmente.
I think for my distance and range, they got in touch with me. Actually, initially it was Coach Mike that got in touch with me. Then it was him directly. I think because of my unorthodox style of fighting, and especially because of my wrestling and that what I come in, and obviously because of again length, distance, and everything else. I mean, all those times that you saw him raising and basically throwing down Leon, that stuff was planned. That stuff was in training. We actually had done that. Bilal, and for those of you who don't know Bilal, such a nice guy, such a charismatic guy, somebody that wants to learn, is willing to learn, very humble. I learned from him, so we both learned from each other. So, I feel kind of proud about the fact that I was able to help him become a champion.
Perfecto, ya adentrándonos ya en lo que va a ser este combate, lo mencionabas después de 10 meses básicamente con mucho entrenamiento, ¿cómo ves a Magny en esta ocasión?
And let's get into the fight right now. So what is it going to be in this long camp that you mentioned, 10 months getting ready for this, and how do you feel going into this fight with Magny?
Sí, Magny es una persona que pues ya tiene una trayectoria súper larga dentro de UFC. Lo respeto mucho, por eso mismo se ha mantenido muy bien en la categoría, más que nada en el ranking. Pero lo he estudiado mucho, he visto muchas de sus peleas, bueno, más que nada las derrotas que ha tenido, pero pues igual trato de aprender de los rivales en el momento también de la pelea. Quiero aprovechar cada arma que vi que puedo utilizar contra él. Y pues nada, solo espero que así como yo, espero él también dé una gran pelea, lo de todo. Pero yo sí o sí quiero meterme en el ranking. Quiero meterme en el ranking, seguir subiendo, seguir aumentando mi nivel de pelea. Siento yo que he madurado un poquito más aprovechando estos meses de preparación. Y pues nada, simplemente no voy a desaprovechar la oportunidad que tenga y tratar de noquearlo.
I think Neil's got a great journey in the UFC, a length of an experience journey in the UFC, and I do feel that I've watched a lot of his fights. I watched a lot of his work, mostly obviously on his losses. So I just see some breaches in his game that I think some opportunities that I can take care of and I can take advantage of. I think he's coming in to give us a good fight. And I hope that from him, just like myself. I think is an opportunity for me to, and I think he's been a good not only in the division but also in the rankings too, which actually gives him the opportunity to go up in the rankings as well. That's what I want to do. I want to increase the level of competition that I fight against and be in the rankings as well. So very excited for this fight.
La pelea obviamente va a ser de pie, se tiene previsto que sea de pie, pero básicamente, ¿cómo tú crees que vas a ser superior? ¿Cuáles son tus fortalezas frente a Magny? Y sobre todo si vamos a ver ese Superman Punch que nos tienes ya acostumbrados.
Obviously the fight should be, we expect it to be, standing, but what are your plans? How do you see this fight happening with Neil? And are we going to see that Superman punch that we've grown accustomed to see?
Sí, prácticamente eso también he visto mucho que mis rivales han estado estudiando ya mi estilo de pelea, mi Superman. Pues prácticamente todo. Lo que no he mostrado mucho es el jiu-jitsu, la lucha, tanto para derribar más que para defender. Entonces, pienso yo que voy a cambiar un poquito el estilo de pelea. Sí va a ser de pie, pienso yo, pero pues aprovechar también las desventajas de él, que sé que lo tumban mucho, que en el piso solo pues se la pasa agarrando, casi no finaliza, pero aprovechar todas las armas, todo lo que esté a mi disposición. Creo yo que la batalla va a ser más de cardio que de golpeos, entonces vamos a ver qué pasa al final de cuentas. Así que nada, yo voy a mostrar quién es el más arrecho, por así decirlo, mientras pelee. Entonces voy a utilizar todas las oportunidades que tenga.
I think you've seen a lot of my game. I think obviously that's what's expected for me to be standing, that Superman punch. I know he's aware of it, but I do see a lot of training. Actually, we did a lot of that during camp. You know, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. I also understand that he's a guy that will come close and just get on that clinch and just be, you know, very close to you all the time, and they may not give me the distance, but I feel that's an opportunity. Like I see some takedowns happening, and let's see who's the angriest. That's what we're gonna do. I think the angriest one come out on top.
Y la última de mi parte, Michael, en esta semana tuvimos la oportunidad de conversar con el profesor Arbizu. Nos mencionaba que tienes el potencial para ser campeón, pero que él te dice que a los 27. ¿Qué opinas sobre eso?
Actually, this past week, we were able to talk to Mr. Albizu, and he said that you could be a champion, you know, at age like 27. How do you feel about that? When you hear that?
Pues el coach sabe que estas son oportunidades que hay que aprovechar en el momento. Ni siquiera sabía que iba a entrar al contender, que iba a entrar a UFC, entonces todo se dio a temprana edad. Así que lo mismo pensé yo, que iba a entrar a UFC a los 25, 26, 27, pero pues se dio a los 21. Ahora quién sabe si sea campeón, quién sabe a los 26 o 25. Bueno, ya tengo 25, a los 26. Entonces, no es aprovechar este momento, aprovechar todo lo que pueda. Creo que sigo creciendo, sigo desarrollándome en este mundo de las artes marciales mixtas. Son oportunidades que pues me van a enseñar, me van a hacer madurar, por así decirlo. Es un proceso y hay que disfrutarlo, hay que aprovecharlo, hay que hacer todo lo que esté a nuestra disposición para cumplir nuestros sueños. Así que nada más, no me voy a detener, no voy a parar y voy a seguir hacia adelante.
I think everything has happened. It just very happened. It happened in a way that I wasn't expecting. So I wasn't, you know, expected to come into contender. I did, and then come into the UFC yet, and it happened at a very young age. I thought that could happen like at age 25. And why not seeing, you know, something? Of course, I'm 25 now, but 26, 27 to be a champion. Every opportunity that I've had, I've taken advantage of it. It's an opportunity that I have to mature, an opportunity to develop and again to become a better fighter. And you just have to take advantage of the opportunities and keep working. You have to develop, you have to evolve, you have to become a better fighter. And I'm just taking advantage of the opportunity. Been very fortunate.
Michael, ¿cómo estás, hermano?
Bien, bien.
Bueno, felicitaciones por estar acá. Estás dentro de la cartelera estelar del evento. Conversábamos en la previa, ¿no? En diciembre pasado tú me comentabas que querías pelear al menos 3 veces este año. Estamos a agosto y recién vas a saltar al octágono luego de que no te encontraban rival. Son 9 meses desde tu último combate. ¿Cómo te sientes de por fin ya estar acá y, bueno, a pocos días de la acción?
Actually, well, you're here on a main card, and we last spoke after your last fight, and you actually said that you wanted to fight 3 times this year. As it turns out, here we are in August, and you're actually doing your first fight. So, how has this been? What do you feel like it's going to be like, and how do you? What is it like for you to come fight at this point, and what does it look like for the rest of the year?
Muy bien, yo creo que ha sido un tiempo de preparación, un tiempo para, pues, por así decirlo, desarrollarme yo mismo. Creo que ha sido tiempo suficiente y pues es verdad, no se han dado las peleas anteriormente, pero pues igual yo creo que todo es una bendición y pienso que si se me dio ahora es por algo y pues en el ranking más que nada. Así que aprovechar lo que pueda ahora esta pelea. Me siento muy bien, me siento en forma. Lo único que me queda es dar peso y todo listo.
Michael, también
I think this was an opportunity to, I mean, as I said, a long camp. It was an opportunity to self-develop. I think everything is a blessing. Everything happens for a reason. So, and also, here I am, the opportunity to take a spot on the rankings too. So, ready to go. The only thing I'm feeling very good, feeling fit. The only thing remaining right now is actually just make the weight, but ready to go and very happy with the opportunity.
Michael, también desde el inicio de tu carrera en UFC, bueno, te mantienes invicto, 16-0, tienes 4 al hilo ya dentro de la compañía. Te hemos visto siempre hacia adelante, siempre como un striker, tratando de buscar la finalización desde el primer asalto. Incluso, como lo conversábamos en la previa, me dijiste que vas a buscar el knockout desde el primer segundo que te subas a la jaula. En tal caso, este es un combate que en su matiz es un poco más importante, ¿no? Tienes la posibilidad de meterte ya al ranking, tal vez vas a jugar un poco más estratégico. ¿Qué vamos a ver de Michael Morales? Se sabe que eres un gran striker, pero en el Entram Gym se hace mucho jiu-jitsu, mucha lucha, y bueno, tienes a compañeros como Martín que pelea en la élite mundial del jiu-jitsu también y que sin duda te aportan en en poder tal vez mejorar en cuanto a finalizaciones, en cuanto a posiciones. Tal vez vemos una finalización ahí yéndose a la espalda de Michael Morales, un real naked choke, un mataleón.
You're still undefeated. You're 16-0. You got 4 wins in the UFC, and we know that you've said this before to us that you were looking for the finish from the moment you get up into the octagon. And in this case, just to put it, into perspective, this fight means more. It means the ranking is a more experienced fighter. You haven't fought for a while. And we know you're a good striker, but could we see something different right now? We know that Interim Gym brings him. We have a lot of wrestling, you have a lot of jiu-jitsu. You have Martin over there, so actually somebody that does competition jiu-jitsu. Could we see you a little bit more cautious, a little, playing smarter a little bit, and perhaps, having a finish? Let's see if you can get as a submission. Could we see a submission for Michael Morales?
Sí, yo creo que van a ser momentos en la pelea en las que pues mi esquina obviamente tiene que ser muy importante para mí del momento de escuchar. Ya estoy acostumbrado a pelear aquí en el Apex. Ya yo creo que parte vital de pelear aquí es que no hay mucho ruido y puedes escuchar a tu esquina en cada momento. Entonces, si se da la oportunidad de pelear en el piso, Martín va a estar ahí para gritarme cualquier técnica que sea porque hemos trabajado mucho el piso ahí en Entran. Es lo que tú lo dijiste, lo que más se trabaja ahí, el jiu-jitsu. Entonces, parte vital del trabajo en el piso va a ser la esquina, yo pienso, más que mía, porque yo voy a escuchar 100% cada instrucción que me dé Raúl o Martín, que son los vitales en Jiu-Jitsu. Y pues ahora que sé que, todo el mundo sabe que Magny es una bestia del cardio también, tratar de hacer caso también al coach Andy Caballero sobre la respiración y todo eso, porque pues pelear en el piso ahí cansa muchísimo. Y pues nada, simplemente aprovechar las oportunidades y habilidades que tenga Magny y darlo con todas.
I think it's going to be important to listen to my corners. I've always listened to them, and one of the cool things, I'm used to fighting at the Apex. The cool thing here is you can listen to everybody, and you can listen to your corners a lot. So I'm going to be listening to my corners very closely. As you mentioned, the ground is where we do our work in Interim Gym more than anything. So I'm going to be listening to Martin and to Raul when they're here. And also, let's not forget that the new Magny is a beast with cardio. So, and when the ground game wears you off a lot, and I have to be very mindful of my breathing, keep my energy out there. But I'll tell you, even more than my work, the work of my corner is going to be important. I'm going to be listening to them and going through everything that they have for strategy.
Just one, it looks like you have a unique, interesting design on your nails. Is there some significance to what's the painting on the nails?
Me parece, obviamente de acá de lejos no puede ver, me parece un diseño único ahí y pues puedes hacerlo así para que la gente vea lo que es. Yes, it is. Michael Morales.
Is he your favorite? Is he your favorite character? And what about him inspires you?
¿Es tu personaje favorito y qué te inspira del personaje?
Pues muchas cosas. Detrás de una máscara, la gente no conoce el personaje, entonces puede ser cualquier persona, puede ser cualquier héroe, puede ser tú mismo, puede ser, quién sabe, tu superhéroe favorito, puede ser tu papá, tu mamá, quién sabe, pero es lo que me gusta de Spider-Man, que detrás de una máscara puede ser una persona cualquiera y puede ser el superhéroe de todo el mundo. Entonces, para mí, es un superhéroe que me gusta muchísimo. Más que nada, Miles Morales. Es lo que me llama mucho la atención del personaje. Me identifico con él.
I think one of the main things is that behind a mask, you can be anybody. You can be yourself. You can be someone else. You can be, your dad, your best friends. Behind a mask, you can be anything, and I think that's what fascinates me about it. And he can be a hero to people, and also because of Miles Morales, I think it's the one that I like the most. Listo.
Well, welcome to Fight Week. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. It's hot out there and crazy with all the construction.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
Yeah. So we've heard fighters talk about the heat before, just cutting weight. I know you're familiar with Vegas. It's not a deal for you. But does that affect you when you come into a place with extreme weather like this?
No, not at all. I've been living in southern Florida, and it's not quite as hot, but the humidity is way higher, so the dry heat is not that bad. And I lived most of my life in Wisconsin, which is the opposite. Yep. So I'm no stranger to extreme weather either way.
Do you feel like maybe fighters are using that as an excuse, the weather? When they say that they have issues cutting weight because of the weather or whatever it is that
Someone actually said that? How would you have an issue?
Last week we had somebody say that.
If the object is to sweat to make weight, how would being hot? That makes no sense.
I thought the same thing, but that's what they said.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna throw them under the bus, but
yeah. I don't know. They should talk to the PI because they clearly they're cutting weight the wrong way.
So can you just tell me about this fight coming up? What were your first thoughts when you heard the name? Were you excited? Kind of disappointed? What were your thoughts when you heard the name?
I was excited. It's a good fight. It's a tough fight. Edmen's got a good name. He's been in the UFC for a while already, and I think that's a good fight for both of us.
How do you see this fight going? I know you guys all prepare for 3 rounds, but do you anticipate it going the full 3 rounds, or do you think this will be a quick fight?
I don't know. I know whether it's a quick fight or whether it takes to the 3rd round, it's going to be intense either way because neither of us are known for like boring fights necessarily. So it'll be exciting either way.
What sort of you can't tell us your game plan, but what sort of preparation did you do for him specifically that maybe you haven't done in some of your past fights, if at all?
Nothing that I haven't done. I mean, if I haven't trained every which way you can after this many fights, I'd be doing something wrong. So, he does have some present unique challenges outside of, any other individual, but it's not anything that's so far off of what I have, been up against in the past.
And I've heard fighters kind of split. Some people say they cater their camp towards their opponent and change it every time depending on who you're fighting. Others say they fight for themselves. They fight, the way they want the fight to go. Which camp are you in?
There's definitely, styles make fights, and there's definitely easier and harder ways to win a fight. But for sure, I try to make sure that I make as few mistakes as possible. It's hard to beat a guy that doesn't make mistakes, right? So that would be the most important one. And then after that, it's, what do you think is the most efficient way to victory? And, some guys you play on the outside, some guys you press them, and then, take one of those 2 basic approaches and then go from there.
What did you think of the middleweight title fight this last weekend?
It was good fight. It's fun to watch. I was one of the few people who picked DDP to win. I just, I think people hate on his style because it doesn't look aesthetically the way they think it should. So when people say oh, he's not good or he makes whatever mistakes, it's you got to stop thinking about fights in terms of how it looks to you or how you think it should look, and how effective is it. And he's very effective. You know what I mean? Just because it doesn't look coordinated to you, or he doesn't look like he's super fast or whatever, he's a big guy, he goes forward and he fights, and it works. And when you have a guy that refuses to stop going forward versus somebody who needs distance and generally fights, throwing circular strikes and punches, the guy that comes in and closes the distance is generally going to have the better end of it, unless he gets stuck on the outside. And he didn't get stuck on the outside, so he won.
Last night, Dana White described it as DDP fighting like a white guy dances.
Yeah, that's, again, but if it works, it works. It doesn't got to look pretty as long as you accomplish the goal. So that's off to him.
I'm just curious if you had an opinion about the little squabble between Marvin and Brendan last weekend. Did you hear about that?
I don't know.
Yep, PFL.
I saw somebody who looked like someone I know, but it's, Brendan Allen, if that's who you're talking about, him and my buddy Tuco, they were at my house. We were just chilling, watching stuff. They weren't even at the casino, so I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Gerald. Now that you've been at Killcliff for a minute, how has the transition to that big gym been for you?
I think it's been great. I got along great with everybody there when I first came. I've been living in there for about a year. I've been doing camps longer than that there. Great staff, great people. I help out now. I teach grappling on Fridays, so far it's been a great fit.
Do you regret not going sooner, or is it kind of like all hindsight's 2020 because of your, of Rufus and all your history there?
Yeah, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. If I had gone sooner, maybe it wouldn't have been as good. Like, who knows? You know what I mean? That stuff doesn't really matter. The only thing that makes me regret not going sooner is that when I moved, it was like the worst possible time to like buy a house with interest rates and just prices and everything. But outside of that, is everything happens for a reason.
That's one of your thoughts on CGI versus ADCC as someone who loves grappling. Like, was it nice seeing a Craig Jones take a stance against ADCC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any more about the politics behind it than anybody else as far as all the videos goes. He's hilarious, so like he did a great job marketing. And like there was really tough people on both cards, and I think if you truly believe in the power of free market capitalism, competition is the best thing for everybody. So they both put on great events. They both had really tough grapplers, and I think anytime you can get people in the sport like that paid, like even if it doesn't look like it'll be a one-off deal, but even if it was, like who cares? You got some of the best guys in the world are finally like getting real money that they can live off of and set themselves up with, off of actual competition and not just like residual sales around the idea that they compete. You know what I mean?
Would you be down to do CGI 2025?
Hell yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd do that well because they just grapple, but I would still do it. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Just following up that, do you have any plans to do any more? I know you've been doing some grappling matches in between. Do you have any plans to do any grappling anytime soon?
I have no plans to do anytime soon, but I'm certainly open to the idea, yeah.
Was there any kind of, and I use the word comfort loosely, that you said, okay, this guy's going to come at me, we're going to stand and put on a show and maybe even steal a show, and any kind of like just a good thought about that, like, okay, Edmen's going to come right here, stand in the middle, I don't have to worry about like a wrestle heavy approach or like, oh man, now I got to adjust for these 25 minutes or 15 minutes that are going to be long, but he's going to step in the middle of the ring, you put on great fights doing that, and might even be a finish.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly what he's going to do, right? Like, he might play the distance on the outside, but, like, I know for a fact when the going gets tough, he's going to fight back. Like, he's not just going to shell up. Like, I know people have said, like, his cardio gets suspect in the later rounds, but even then, like, it's not one-way traffic. You know what I mean? If I get in his face, he's going to swing back. He does some decent work, like elbowing and throwing big knees off clinches. And, he's tough. He's matured as a fighter, and he's not just going to, I'm not going to be able to just take him down and choke him. You know what I'm saying? And he's not just, he's going in there to win too. So that's what I mean by that is, like, I know I want to win. He wants to win. I know what my plan is. And at a certain point, you get two guys going forward, bumping heads. We're going to start throwing, and something's going to happen.
Oh, can't wait. On paper, it just looks fantastic. Was there anything, he's not a small guy, obviously, for the division. Any specific training partners you had to come in for this one and say, okay, give me that. Give me those looks. He's long. He likes to, fight that way. Give me those angles.
No, I mean, we got so many good guys at Killcliff, plenty of lanky right-handed strikers. So, I didn't need to, like, bring it. That's the nice thing about being at a gym like Killcliff is that you don't need to bring anybody in. And then there's enough high-level guys with different looks that, you can prepare for anything, right? Like, on paper, would you expect him to shoot? No, but he could. You know what I mean? Even threatening the takedown, as an attempt to throw me off isn't necessarily the worst idea. So, we'll see what happens.
I'm sure when he watches this video, he's like, okay, I'm going to shoot.
Yeah, right off the glove touch, shoot, yeah.
All right, man. Can't wait to see it on Saturday, and good luck, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good. Thank Thanks, guys. All right.
Thank you.
All right, well, welcome to Media Day. You look like in a great mood. How's everything been in Vegas for you? Camp leading up to the big fight on Saturday.
Everything's going great for me. Feeling awesome. I have perfect team around me, good vibes, just excited.
And you have a lot of momentum coming into this. I'm sure that'll be a great help of, not only seeing a ranked opponent higher than you, but that opportunity to really make a name for yourself as that co-main event. Does that make you more focused, dialed in, or kind of go along the lines of like, you know what, this is where I should be. This is kind of, the path I knew I'd be on right now.
Oh, I'm definitely getting more motivated, happier, enjoying my workouts, training. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for the fight and very grateful for the opportunity to be in the co-main event.
When you got that call or the contract came over, what was the initial reaction? Not only the co-main event spot, but such a well-known ranked opponent. What was the thoughts, the emotions like?
I got very excited to fight Angela, one more veteran. So I was very, very happy about the fight. I actually didn't know I was going to be the co-main event. So I show up for training, the coach like, do you know you're going to be the co-main? I was like, no. It's like, yeah. So I got way happier now.
You guys, you can't always choose the place. And would you rather have just had the fight be sooner so you could just get it over with and less nerves, or are you excited to have more eyes on you and that more exposure taken on?
I think the time-wise was perfect. Yeah, so I didn't have any preference, but it was great. I want to fight much as I can. I feel great, in shape. My body's in good conditioning. My mind's in the right place. Just the time was very good.
Excellent. Without giving out, too much of the game plan, obviously, what are your strengths here coming in? Any specific partners for Angela? How you prepare for this fight?
I studied a lot, watch a lot of tape on her. She has a lot of fights, a lot of experience, so we had a lot of things to look at and get better and improve and come up with a good, strategic for the fight. So I think everything went smooth, and we're pretty confident with our game plan and ready to go.
What can we expect on Saturday? If you could give me like a little bit of a prediction. You want that finish, that highlight, or give us that 15 hard?
I really wanted that finish. I'm looking to feel the zone, the confidence, and the feeling good, like at home inside of the cage. I'm looking for that, and I'm pretty confident. I'm feeling calm. I'm feeling very confident. The training camp was pretty smooth. My sparring session was perfect the way I want. So I'm looking for the finish, but it's gonna come when the time is right. So I'm not rushing up, and I'm just gonna be there and give it all. Fight with my heart, 100%, and trust in my team.
Excellent. Well, congrats on that co-main event slot, and can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Appreciate it.
It's been a minute since you fought in the Apex. You've been fighting in front of crowds. We know that you love fighting in front of fans. So, were you a little bummed to come back to the Apex?
Actually not. I'm just happy that I have a fight. I don't care where I fight as long as I have the opportunity to show my skills and, what I made for it. I'm happy with.
And, you were asking for a ranked opponent. You got Angela. I mean, what would a win over her do for you? Not only, you beat Tisha in your last fight, which was a big name, and Angela, you argue, is an even bigger name. Like, what would that win do for you?
Win over Angela would give me a spot in top 10, which I was looking forward. So I'm very excited for that.
And I just want to know, obviously you were training for this fight, but did you watch ADCC or CCGI?
I was very busy, but I was following Instagram some highlights. I was very entertaining.
Awesome.
Well, welcome to Fight Week. How are you feeling?
I feel great. That's my place.
Does this experience feel a little weird for you, or do you, like you said, it's your place? Do you feel comfortable? Does this feel right?
It feels right, but at the same time, it's weird because it's new. But I think I'm doing pretty good.
What was the first thing, like when you started this fight week, you know, probably taking pictures and meeting with UFC personnel, what was the moment that you felt like was the most surprising or most exciting?
I don't think I can pick just one because everything's like, it seems like everything going so fast. But I'm enjoying every moment, like taking pictures, signing posters. I think yesterday when I was signing posters, I was like, oh my God, I'm here. I'm in the UFC. That's it. Like, but everything since the tough, like I'm kind of getting used to it. Some things, but some things are new to me. But yeah, everything is being great.
What was it like being on Tough and then going and watching yourself back? What was the weirdest part of that for you?
It was weird, first of all, to be in a house with a lot of guys, like 16 different guys and 14 different countries, different cultures. And it was weird, but it was good to learn. And like after that, I missed a little bit. And it was weird, and watching back, I could see like a lot of things that I didn't remember. So it was great to like relive some moments. And yeah, it was a crazy experience. I can't describe it because it was so crazy, but it was good. It was overall, everything was good.
Was there anything that happened during that time of filming that they didn't show on the season that you wish that they had?
A lot of things. Like my first weight cut was pretty hard. I went through a lot of bad things. And like between my first fight and my second fight, I couldn't train properly like because I was injured, and that wasn't like playing in my favor to help me to cut the weight after again, 13 days after. So I had like 9 days training to cut, I don't know, 30 pounds. So they didn't show that, but they showed what they had to show, the fights, and I'm happy with that.
And now looking forward at this finale, what do you think of your opponent and where do you see this fight going?
So I think he'll try to grab me all the time, like all my opponents, because they never want to strike with me. So I'm just training what I train for all my fights: defend the takedowns and be the best striker.
How much did you actually learn from the coaches on The Ultimate Fighter? Because I've heard some people say that you know it wasn't enough time to really get enough knowledge from them. Others have taken things. Was there anything in particular that you took away from the coaches?
Yes, like some techniques that Diego taught me because he was in Grasso too, and they didn't show that too, but like he was teaching me a lot of things all the time, and we had like a good connection. We're both from Brazil, and Alexa also taught me good things because she speaks Portuguese, and that helped us to communicate. And I learned some things that I used in my first fight. So yeah, my experience, I learned good techniques.
Thank you.
Did you, since your episode that got you to this point aired last night, did you rewatch that? And what were the emotions like watching that performance?
Yes, for the first time I got to watch the fight, and I was happy with my performance. I didn't remember everything that happened in the fight, and I was pretty happy because I know that Memo, the guy that I fought, he is a good wrestler. He has like Olympic level. He already fought with Cejudo and guys like that. So I was pretty happy with my performance.
And that was a teammate on the house as well. Was that tough, and is that something that you've ever had to do before?
So that was tough because first thing, I didn't know that I was gonna fight him. So he was helping me to prepare to fight another guy. So like the fight week, he was helping me all the time. They didn't show that too, but we were drilling, doing positions, doing everything technique. And Alexa came to me and said, like 1 hour before the fight, you're gonna fight Memo. And like he had his fight, so I didn't know that he was gonna fight again. So we were being friends, sharing histories with each other. He was talking with me about his daughter, his dreams. So it was tough, but when the fight started, it was a normal fight.
I mean, but to get that name change an hour before the fight, you know, that's got to say something to your level of preparedness and how you're able to adapt. Are you proud that you were able to make such a pivot in short time and produce such a good outcome?
So I was struggling with that before, a couple of days before the fight, when Alexa came to me and said, hey, you can fight Cooper, Memo, or Giga. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have 3 different game plans. But I stopped thinking about that, and I just started to think about myself. And then I just said, I'm going to just be me. If the guy tried to take me down, I'm going to defend. If it's too hard for me to strike, I'm going to take him down, and that's it. So I was focused on myself. I didn't have any strategy for my 3 potential opponents. So I was just waiting for the time to fight.
And last question for me. You mentioned the big weight cut, you know, so coming into this fight week, did you address that situation? Are you feeling much better? Are you lighter than what normally you would be?
Yes, I am. This time it's much better. Everything gonna be easier. Right now I had a lot of time. So last time, like 10 days, 13 days, it was my first time doing that. And usually, like the day after the wins, I gain a lot of weight. So now it's gonna be much easier for sure.
Awesome. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
How has it been training at Extreme Couture?
Great, a lot of great guys, a lot of inspiration, champions, and I couldn't be any happier.
Who's going to be in your corner?
Eric, Pedro, and Marcelo.
And, you know, obviously you could have chosen any gym in the world to go to, but why did you pick Extreme Couture?
I like to train hard, but I like to train smart, and that's the place. Like when I first got to the gym, I was like, oh my God, I want to be here. Before I couldn't because some problems with my other coach. But now I can, and I can be part of the team, part of the family. So that's the right place. They train hard the way that I like it, and that's what I like.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I mean, you've been here before, so you know you gotta like I guess word the stuff different. But it's Vegas. You've done it again. But how was preparation for this camp? How are we feeling? What's going on?
Camp was great. I mean, for me, going through training camp is like one of those things that I have to like mold myself into the fighter I want to be on fight night. So for training camp for me, it's making it as difficult as possible. If I have week after week of having great days in training camp, for me, that wasn't a good training camp. That wasn't a successful training camp. I need training camp to be as difficult as possible to prepare me emotionally, physically, mentally for what's going to happen on fight night. And I feel like this training camp did just that. I mean, there's literally been days that I was walking out of the gym in tears, head down, not wanting to do with anyone because of how difficult the training was. And for me, I feel like that's a recipe for success. There's nothing that can happen on Saturday night that I'm not prepared for mentally, physically, emotionally at this point.
Is this something that you have to? You've seen all kinds of names. I don't think there's anything that we can throw at you as a surprise. But the fact that after all this time in the game as a veteran, you still take your craft that serious, to where you're like, nah, they're not gonna catch me slipping on this one. I don't care what the name is. I'm Neil Magny. I've been here for quite some time. I still got a couple tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, I have to continue to evolve, fight at the fight, camp at the camp. I mean, my last fight for Mike Malott, for example, going into that fight, he's a guy that finishes fights in the early rounds of the fight. He had a lot of first-round finishes, second-round finishes, very rarely seen in the third round. So in preparation for that fight, I had about 20 minutes, 25 minutes total of fight film to me to actually view of him to game plan for. Where on the opposite end, he had 9 hours of UFC footage alone to formulate a game plan for me. So going into that fight, you can definitely tell who would have the edge as far as like preparation goes, as far as like what my tactics and techniques could be. So in training camp, I'm forced to have to evolve and forced to have to like find a different version of myself going into these different fights. Otherwise, it makes it a lot more difficult for me to be successful. It makes it a lot more easier for me to be predictable for my opponents.
Yes, sir. You mentioned a different version of yourself. Your opponent actually matches up really well. He could be dynamic just like you. He's got hands. He could be powerful. What was the reaction like when that name came across on the contract?
Excitement, pure excitement. As soon as I saw the name, as soon as I saw the record, I was like, cool, let's do it. This is I know a lot of people say this is a test for Mike Morales, the fact that he's fighting a veteran, that kind of thing. It's a test for me as well. It's a very difficult fight. It's a very difficult matchup. He fought, he's undefeated for a reason. He's undefeated in UFC for a reason. So when I saw that matchup, I was like, all right, cool. The bar just got set pretty high, and I'm going to do my best to go out there and just knock it out the park.
Did you bring, yes, sir, speaking of knockouts, did you bring anybody specific for this training camp to mimic Morales?
Not specifically having training partners that like would mimic it, but I definitely had like my coaches really hone in and try to focus on like some of the tactics and techniques that they felt would be successful for this fight. So even though there's not a specific person that do it, there are very specific techniques and tactics that are being used, implemented throughout training camp for Mike Morales on Saturday.
Besides the experience factor, that's obviously like a no-brainer. Do you feel like being here before, under the bright lights, doing countless media days, you know, the attraction that it gets and everything, that you at least have that mental edge going into this fight?
Even like when it comes to the fight, yes, every fight's be more difficult as far as like the preparation for it and that kind of thing. But like even the mental part of it as well, like that's like preparation as well. Like even like some of the questions you get asked, I even asked all week, where it's like, oh, another up and comer, another this, another that. It's like it'll be easy for me to get complacent and say like, oh yeah, just another up and comer. I've faced a test before. I fought a striker before. I've seen this kind of test before. But like each individual opponent is different and have to take it very seriously. Not take a moment for granted. And with Mike Morales, I feel like I'm doing just that. I'm locked in physically, emotionally, mentally, and I feel like I'm in a great place right now to go out and get it done on Saturday.
Man, I'm excited for it. And last for me, what can we expect? What new tricks up your sleeve, or just that classic Neil Magny that's going to come and bring it and make people happy, and we got to tune in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be a great fight. I mean, my last fight, I used the analogy of like watching Vin Diesel in a Fast and Furious movie, where it's like he's always racing the other guy, and the other guy has like that slight edge, and he hits that NOS button, and it's just like, oh no, Vin Diesel's gonna finally lose the race, and Vin Diesel always sits back and says like, ha, too soon, I got you, and it's like sprints off to the finish line. I feel like this is what this fight's gonna be exactly. I'm gonna go out there and really showcase my entire skill set from grappling to striking to wrestling. It's gonna go out there and be a really involved version of myself on Saturday night.
All right, man. Can't wait to see it. Good luck, and let's win this fight a quarter mile at a time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Neil.
Yes, sir.
So you said that you were excited to fight Michael Morales, and then you kind of said, you're talking about like another undefeated. But when Sean Shelby hits you up and said, all right, you're fighting this Michael Morales, like, is there something that's like, dude, another undefeated prospect, another hot prospect that everyone is like excited to fight? Like, is there like some I guess, some emotion, like, why, like, can I get a veteran like myself? Can I get someone else like that?
No, I mean, at this point, I'm a man on a mission. And literally, when Sean Shelby sends the email, it's literally, that's my assignment. Like, literally, the email came through. It was a name and a date and a location. My response, like, cool, thank you. And literally was my response in the email. It wasn't like, can we do this? Can we do that? I was like, perfect, thank you, I'll be there. For me, that's the excitement of it all. Like, there'll be a day where I do have to start picking my opponents and getting a favorite match and that kind of thing. But when that point comes in my career, the conversation with myself and my coaching becomes completely different. I'm not that phase of my career yet. I'm still evolving. I'm still getting better. I still have a lot to get accomplished in this sport. So I'm not at the point in my career I feel like I have to pick and choose my opponents just yet.
Were you open to fight on that Denver card?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was like, oh, please get Denver, please get Denver. It's like, nah, but how about a month later? I was like, close one. But same thing, same opportunity to go out there, put on a great performance to be able to, like, call the shots as far as, like, where my next fight could be, possibly.
What do you think of Bilal Muhammad winning the title?
It was a great fight. I mean, a lot of people thought I was crazy when I called that fight prior to it. I was like, yeah, dude, the wrestling pressure Bilal would be too much for Leon Edwards. And it was just like, you're crazy, bro. There's no way. But he went out there and got it done. I mean, I'm not a guy that's to be a hater ever. I'll give credit where it's due. And Bilal definitely went out there and got it done. And hats off to him for getting it done.
It seems like he's going to fight Shavkat next. And with you fighting Shavkat, how do you kind of see that fight playing out?
Yeah, I think the Shavkat fight would be a lot more difficult for him because he can't strictly rely on his wrestling to carry him through. Like, Shavkat's a very rangy striker, and he's able to do really well in the clinch and the grappling as well. I don't think Bilal will have as much of a I don't think it'd be as easy as him to control the grappling as he did against Leon Edwards and some other opponents against a guy like Shavkat. So if I were to have to be a betting man in that fight, I'd probably bet on Shavkat in that fight.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hello, Magny. Greetings from Ecuador.
Ecuador, eh?
Ecuador. Yes,
what
sir.
Are you rooting for?
Yes, we are from Ecuador, my friend. So, seems that like you are the key for the rankings in your division for all these newcomers. How do you feel about it?
For me, it's like you either, like, I can't be a hypocrite. There's a lot of these guys that are in rankings that kind of sit there and try to protect their rankings and do everything else like that. I've never had that mindset. I've always been trying to get to the next step, get to the next ranking, get to the next level kind of thing. So if that means having to protect my spot in order to do so, I'll do it. I mean, there's been times that I fought an unranked fighter and I moved up one spot in the rankings. If I have to do that 10 times to move up 10 slots, I'll do it, or whatever. So I'll never be a hypocrite to say, like, oh, you should only fight ranked guys if you're ranked or that kind of thing. I'll be the guy that either, lack better words, shits to get off the pot. Like, I'm either going to be out there defending my spot or I'm just going to, like, move out of the way, let someone else take over.
How do you think about Michael as a fighter?
He's a great fighter. I mean, the guy is 16-0 for a reason. He's a very talented, well-rounded fighter. He's undefeated in UFC for a reason. He's a very talented guy, and he's definitely an opponent that I could not take lightly for sure.
He was working a little bit with Bilal before this fight. Does it mean something for you?
Not at all. I mean, at this point, I've fought and competed against every major camp throughout, not just the U.S., but the world at this point. I fought the best guys from China to Russia, down to South America, back up to Canada. So at this point, I've seen everything the world has to offer as far as, like, tactics and techniques and that kind of thing. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to who wants it the most, and I guarantee I would come out successful on Saturday night.
So Michael is a very humble kid and very respectful for with all his rivals. But he had a little fight in social media with Ian Gary Machado because he was disrespectful with you. Does it mean, did you know that? It means something for you? I just asked him, and Michael has a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all love and respect for me and all my opponents. I mean, I've never been a guy to go out there. Like, I know a lot of fighters like to give themselves that technique. I'm going to war. I'm going to try to knock this guy's head off. I'm going to try to be violent. That was never my MO at all. For me, it was always going out there and giving the best version of myself. I mean, there's been times where I literally helped my opponent prior to us fighting in order for him to be his best version of himself when we fought. To give an example, when I fought in New Zealand against Rodrigo de Lima, we were both backstage waiting to get drug tested for our fight, and the guy's just kind of laying there dehydrated, unable to pee, and I'm just like, dude, like, what are you doing here? Drink some Gatorade, drink some water. I went and actually got him his Gatorade and his water to help him hydrate prior to us fighting. So for me, it was never any kind of hostility or bad blood for me to go out there and be motivated to beat my opponent. It's always been about me going out there and perform to the best of my ability. So I definitely appreciate the fact that he's a humble fighter. He's more so wanted to test himself and not necessarily worry about all the other nonsense. It makes my job, my life a lot easier, not having to do with all the other antics or tactics. But my head off to him. I much respect him as well.
Last one. What's the most dangerous thing about you for this Saturday?
Everything. I mean, this is a fight that I'm excited for. I'm very excited to go out there and perform on Saturday night. I feel excited for where this fight ends up, whether it's on the feet, on the ground, wrestling, clinch, wherever this fight goes. I feel I'm gonna be able to get the edge in that fight, and I can't wait to go out there and show it on Saturday night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Neil, over here.
Yes, sir.
After your last fight, which was a phenomenal win, people talk a lot about the emotional aspect, the mental aspect of elite athletes, professional athletes, all the pressure. How did that win after the loss to Ian Machado Gary? How did that win by knockout make you feel emotionally, mentally, and how has that, translated and traveled all the way here a few days before your next fight?
For me, I'm always been my biggest critic. I mean, even in going back to the Ian Gary fight, after that fight, I literally had to sit there and look at the outcome of it and say, man, that fight sucked. I sucked in that fight. It was terrible. It was a terrible fight. And then I had to ask myself, like, wow, that fight wasn't it wasn't a representation of who I see myself as an athlete or as a fighter or as a person at all. I had to really ask myself, why was that the outcome? And I go back to my preparation for that fight, where I was at mentally and things like that, and it just wasn't, I didn't put the work in for that fight. I didn't do the things that were necessary to beat the best guys in the world, and the result spoke for itself. So going to preparation for guys like Mike Morales and that kind of thing, I made it very important for me to make sure I focus on the preparation, literally put myself through the most difficult things possible to kind of ensure my success come Saturday night. You can ask my coach and training partners. There's literally been days that I'm like leaving the gym in tears because the training was that difficult, where it's just like, damn, dude, is it be okay? Like, is Nick gonna be all right this training camp? Like, what's going on? But being able to take things with a grain of salt and really assess myself and realize where that growth is going to need to take place and be coachable when it comes to what my coaches and training partners are telling me. It's what allows for that evolution to keep getting the best version of myself.
If you take into account every major aspect of the fight game, striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, in which areas do you think you're clearly, or would you say you're clearly better than Michael, or areas that might give you a specific edge for the Saturday's fight?
For me, I think it's being able to switch and adapt to all three of the major aspects, whether it be wrestling, grappling, or striking. I think one of the things that give me a clear advantage in this fight is the way that I am able to blend those three together flawlessly. I go from striking to wrestling in a drop of a dime, and the same thing from wrestling to grappling. And I think that's going to be the thing that really sets me apart come Saturday night. A lot of guys are able to train specific techniques and tactics or disciplines at a time, but not many people are able to blend them as fluidly as I am. And I think that's going to be the real difference maker come Saturday night.
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
about you?
Well, welcome to Fight Week. How does it feel?
Natural, amazing. Yeah.
Is it everything you thought it would be and more?
To be honest, I didn't imagine anything. I was just looking forward for the feeling. And the feeling is undescribable. Yeah, it feels I'm in the right place. Yeah.
Is there any extra pressure knowing you're going to do this final on a card in front of people and there won't be TV there? It's just, I mean, there's TV obviously, but different TV, not reality TV.
I wouldn't call it pressure. I would say it's more excitement. I love the cameras. I love the show. I love the lights. And the bigger the stage gets, the more excited I get to go in there. So I'm so fucking pumped. It's, yeah.
What was the experience like on the show for you?
I loved every single day. I woke up every day with a smile on my face. It was the perfect environment for me. I feel like my whole life prepared me to be in this house and to perform to my best. I just had this feeling every day that I'm a man on a mission, and I don't want to lie. Everyone has doubts, you know, before the fights and stuff. I had these doubts, but I would always, for example, in the morning, I'd go for my run and I would tell me, nothing's going to stop you today. You're going to change your life today. This is your time. And I would say this for 5 weeks straight, every day to myself. And I think it manifested. So, yeah.
Was there anything about the experience that you didn't like? Was it, you know, like being
That I had to leave.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't want to leave. I told the producers, hey, can I stay here?
Nice house, huh?
Yeah, it's like, it's not about the house. It's like, you don't care about anything, right? You get food, you get everything you need, and you just train, fight, and yeah, I miss it. Yeah.
The last guy said the same thing, that he misses it. That's funny. That's not something I hear that often from you guys.
I think our season was different. Our season was so different. I grew up watching The Ultimate Fighter, and our season, especially our team Grasso, we miss each other. Like literally, we text each other every day, and we're waiting for this big reunion. When I see the guys here, we built such a strong bond and such special, unique relationship. I think that's why they miss it, because we woke up every day being around people you don't have to explain yourself to, and that support each other. And yeah, it was just, yeah, pure bliss. Yeah.
Why do you think that it was different for you guys?
To be honest, I don't know. I think the energies of everyone matched very well. Like when I was standing there at the evaluations and Alexa would pick the team, every pick she did, I was like, well, this cannot get better. And at this point, we didn't really knew each other, but every day you start to get to know each other better, and you could just see Alexa picked 8 guys that are in their core, like kind of the same, like values, same mindset, same humor, and all this created just such a good energy. Yeah.
Was there anything that that happened during the show filming that didn't make it on the show that you wish they had shown?
No.
Really?
Okay, sorry, no. I understood a question wrong. Yes, actually everything, because we had so funny moments driving to the Apex, or I remember some situations where the producers were like, cut it. You like, we said so many funny shit, and we were laughing every day. I think I had, in the first week, I literally had a sore abs for 3 days because I was laughing nonstop. We were talking so much shit, but obviously that was not able to put on TV. Nobody would put this on TV.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway from the coaches from that time?
Okay, picture this. A champion of the world in the biggest organization in the world takes time to get to know each fighter personally and to make everything possible so they reach their goals. What bigger of a lesson about staying humble you can get, you know? And seeing this from her, I have goosebumps right now because she's a fucking champion of the world. She treated us like a big sister. And to see this and having this as the first real, like, I knew UFC fighters before, right? But she's a champion. The first interaction I have with the UFC champion is they're down to earth, humble, and just this sweet, warm-hearted person. So I think I will keep this forever. Doesn't matter how high you climb on this ladder in this show. Stay humble and look out for the people around you, you know? There's this famous quote of The Rock. He said, strong people don't put others down, they lift them up. And she embraced that. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you see ahead for you for this fight? What are your thoughts on your opponent?
I'm really excited to get in there with Ryan. I kind of pictured that we would face each other in the final because he's a very disciplined athlete. He's a very strong guy. And I think we were both maybe favorites. And I think I'm a terrible matchup for him. And I'm the guy that can make this fight entertaining. And I think I don't want to take anything away from him because he has ways to win fights, but his style is not very fan-pleasing, and I have actually the skills to make this a fan-pleasing fight. And I'm just looking forward for both of us getting inside of there, expecting the best shape of the opponent and putting it all on the line. And I want to have a long fight. I don't want to have first round finish. I want to give the people what they need, and they need more airtime of Robzilla in the cage because the last performance was too short. You know, I want to give them more.
Thank you.
Are you hoping to make Ryan bleed so that you could sacrifice his blood to the pagan gods?
I wouldn't sit here. I literally would still be home if there's not a chance to make someone bleed, you know? That's why I took the flight to Vegas. You know, I don't go to jail for splitting someone's skull. That's why I'm here, you know? And that will never change.
Was there any experiences that helped you shape you as a fighter leading into the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, like I said, I think my whole life shaped me to be on the Ultimate Fighter. I would always, so Switzerland is a small country. We don't have established MMA community, right? And for me, growing up in Switzerland and trying to be a professional fighter was hard to find training partners. So I would travel. I would travel by myself. And I knew I would go to different places and get my ass whooped. And I didn't care. And so growing up, traveling like all over the place, I never had problem adapting to a new environment and also to eat some shit, you know? I was like, if that's what it takes for me to become better, then I do it. So being in the Ultimate Fighter house, for me was like natural environment. It literally felt like everything prepared me to be there. Because it's not, you don't have your folks around, you don't have your comfort zone. And I was like, comfort zone, what? You know, this is my comfort zone. To be in a new place, you know? I fucking enjoy new places. I love it, you know? So.
Can you talk about your trip to the mountains?
I know what you're referring to. All right. Okay. So, I want to say one thing before. I was thinking about consuming mushrooms, but the person that actually pushed me to was Alistair Overeem. We had a conversation about mushrooms. And he's like, yeah, you should do that. So, fast forward, 2023. I have a pretty important fight coming up. I traveled from Thailand to Switzerland like 3 weeks before, and in my headspace, I was not right because I was battling staph infections. I had a very bad relationship at that time. So I go to the mountains, and I take a shit ton of mushrooms. I'm alone in the forest, in the mountains, in the dark. And I spend the night there. And I don't know how many grams I ate, maybe like 5, 6, I don't know. But after a couple of hours, the tree started bending. There were literally, no,
same name. And then we read the sheet who I have to come to today, and he's like, what? And he has her name tattooed on his arm. He almost like cried, you know? Like, whoa, there's something happening. Yeah. You know, the day I arrived first time in Vegas for Tough, there was like what's it called? Like kind of snowing, but more ice.
Like hail.
Yeah. They picked me up from the airport. They're like, this never happened here before.
Yeah, we never get it. They got big pieces, and we never get that.
It's you, Robert. It's just
Yeah.
Alex, didn't you post a picture about the hail, or was it somebody else? No, it wasn't you that posted when they had the hail in the backyard? You don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we want to hear the end of the story.
Moving the pieces into place for the story for the last 3 months.
The worst part is if we don't finish the story, everyone's going to think there's something to it.
I know, I can't wait.
Fans are going to be like, conspiracy. You guys don't want to.
Yeah.
We're going to blame Dana again.
Yeah. We don't want the story to get out.
Don't tell me you didn't think it for a second. I was like,
I know. Get the answer. This is half the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. We want to hear it. We're not going anywhere.
I'll leave it to you guys to splice the interview so it's seamless. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be. There's going to be confusion, and then it's going to be talked about. They're going to be, what'd you canoe?
Oh. No, it should just catch. I can, but. How was your time at the zoo with Oh, it's the highlight. It was easily the highlight of the We got there, he immediately was like, I want to see the snakes. I want to hold the snakes. I was like, we will. Don't worry, we will. I guess he showed up a little late. So I was texting Tim, and I was like, hey, any update? And Tim was like, oh, he thought he was going to do Culture King signing, so he came down in a full suit at first, and I was like, no. We're going to go see some wildlife right now, brother. He loved it, though. He looked every animal, like, in the eye. Like, every animal.
That's crazy.
He loved it. He was a dog guy. He loved the Tasmanian devils. He went back more than once to check them out. Yeah, all the time.
See, if you get to championship status, you may get to go to the zoo.
I can take you to the zoo if you get
That's
out
the
there.
perk of being the champion.
Yeah.
You get to see the animals.
Yeah.
I like animals.
I know, the best part of media day.
Which one?
So we're saying it's funny that the mic spit during the best part of
Oh, I
media
know.
day.
I'm doing troubleshooting cam.
Yeah. Oh. There you go.
Oh, you're live.
Yeah.
Bringing the stage.
Let the people watch so they realize that stuff.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he is. He is. But he has the camera down there, so.
Now I'm showing them.
That there's
No
reason.
pressure for them.
Yeah, because
No
they're probably
pressure.
like, what's he doing out there? Yeah.
They're like, why isn't he talking?
What's the media outlet you're live on?
MMA Junkie. YouTube.
We talk about my Yuri experience.
He's like, never heard of him.
No, I know that.
I know.
I appreciate that.
They wrote about me first time in 21.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, it was my fight in Netherlands against Joey Birkenbosch.
Do you remember who the writer was?
Oh, the writer?
Yeah.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, we have some good guys that like to identify like upcoming guys that make a big point. So I can see where they would find you over there or something. So, well, you're gonna get plenty of write-ups after this event too.
I'm good. You just want an amazing story right now. And then just, what thing?
stage time out of anybody today. Just a little bit after he said that he had saw the gods. And
We'll come back. They just need to fix the mic. They're gonna run the cables, so we'll try to do fire meeting, and then we'll come back here and finish it up.
So you're taking them off?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be back. I can bring them back though to wrap it up.
They're going to bring him back, guys. They're rather than make him sit up there, they're going to work on the sound issue, and then they'll bring him back, and then we'll get to hear the thrilling conclusion of his mushroom story.
Check, check, check. 1, 1, 1, 1. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Translator. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 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 check.
Thank you, guys.
¿Cuál es? A mí hicieron, o sea, hicieron que yo me canse de esa canción.
Wait for Alex to get back. He's the one who asked.
Everything.
No.
Remember where you were at? When
The trees were bending. in front of
Yeah.
you.
I think you said you saw the God showed up.
Yeah. No. I said that already. Yeah, I remember. Okay. Give me a sign. Can we go? Yeah. So, okay, we're back. Yeah, as I said, in this night, yeah, the trees were bending, and the gods showed up, and they literally told me, "You're the guy. We need you to bring us blood, violence. We wanna have something to cheer for, and you gotta make your ancestors and the old gods proud." And in this night, I felt so strong. I remember I took my shirt off. I started shadow boxing in the forest, and I felt like my feet would grow roots into the soil. And nature gave me so much power and strength going into fight week after that. And I would have those voices in my head all the time. And I don't know if you saw the fight. It was yeah. And I knew after this that this is my source of power. And that's why I always, like before fights, I look for that connection with nature and to connect to home soil if possible, but if not, even like just connect to nature, because that's where I gain so much strength from. And that's basically the whole base of Nordic paganism is the connection of man and nature. And yeah, that's basically the story of my trip in the mountains. Yeah.
That's literally it.
We're done. Okay. Thank you guys.
Vegas, Edmen.
What's up, brother?
How you feeling?
Feeling good. Ready for Saturday.
How was this training camp, man? And you know, I feel like this matchup on paper, it's striker versus grappler, but do you think it's a little bit more than that?
Definitely. I think it's more of finisher versus finisher, you know? I think it makes for a very exciting fight. Training camp's been amazing, you know, going off of the last one, skill building on the last one. So, yeah, it's always been great. Now I'm ready.
How relieving was it to get that win in your last one, right? Like, you know, you'd snapped your skid, right? And then you run into Fluffy Hernandez, who's one of the most underrated fighters in the division. And then you get back on track again. Like, just how did that feel?
Felt good, you know, especially going through the adversity in that fight, coming back after, you know, he caught me with a good shot. But, yeah, it was definitely a good learning experience for me. And, yeah, now I'm here to do even better now.
I'm sure you've heard, you know, the criticism that's like, yeah, Edmen's gonna, and then his gas tank's gonna run out, and blah 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 blah. So, are you ready to show the doubters even some more stuff?
I haven't heard those before, but I'm ready for war. I can tell you that. Like I'm in prime shape. I'm in dog shape to be, you know, going all the way strong.
Who are some of your main training partners at this camp?
You know, the usual, the guys at Extreme always pushing me. There's a bunch of them to list them, but all the guys at Extreme, you know, they've helped me a lot, and they're, you know, always pushing the limits with me.
And now that you've been at Extreme for a few years now, man, like, I guess how much has that really improved you and helped you grow as a fighter?
It's helped me tremendously. You know, a group of guys there that are always killers, and, you know, that come to, you know, 100% every time. It's awesome. And obviously we had the champ there, Sean, former champ. He's a good leader for the team as well. So, yeah, it's a good group of guys that are always pushing each other.
How do you get your hand raised on Saturday?
Any way possible. I'm telling you, I'm ready for a war, and it's going to be a fun fight. I'm excited for this.
What do you think of Izzy and versus DDP?
Oh, man. I think Izzy looked really good coming into the fight. You know, DDP, obviously, he's a very unorthodox fighter, and the way he gets finishes and the way he gets wins is impressive. And I think I heard Dana say something yesterday. He was like, he's like a white man dancing. That was pretty funny, but I can see that definitely. And yeah, he's a dog, and Izzy's a dog too. So I'm happy how that fight went. And then obviously, you know, they showed lots of respect to each other after too, which was cool.
As someone who's very technical, like, and you watch DDP fight, like, how does he keep doing it? Yeah,
it's crazy. You know, it's his style. You know, I don't think a lot of people could do that style. I think he's like very, very unique in that sense. So it's impressive, and, you know, good for him. He's doing amazing.
Obviously, you're teammates with Sean, and Dana said he's next. But do you think there's a case for Robert Whitaker or the winner of that fight versus Hamzat?
I don't know. I think Sean deserves it, especially since the close fight he had with Dricus. But yeah, it's so close with those top contenders. But I definitely think it's Sean who's next in line. But, you know, then again, you got to see how other fights play out, this, that. But if I were to choose, it's definitely Sean. You know, not being biased, of course, but yeah.
Thanks, man.
Of course, thank you.
Just out of curiosity, how do you train? Like, if let's just say you had the assignment, and you had someone that unorthodox. How do you train for somebody? Do you be more unorthodox, or how do you prepare for a strike? Because it's coming.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be, you know, I feel like each round you got to have different styles approach you in sparring, you know. That's how I feel you got to prepare for a guy like Drake, is different, you know, styles every single round, because he could be a different type of fighter each round. So, yeah.
For sure, man. And with your opponent that you have, what was the, you know, he'll meet you in the middle. He'll bang if necessary, or, you know, surprise you, and you'll try to surprise him. But what was the initial reaction when you got that contract? Oh, it's at home. guy I know. We got tape on. Let's go to work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know he's a good fighter. He's had lots of fights in the UFC, like myself, and yeah, finisher versus finisher. I think it excites me. You know, it's an exciting fight, and these are the type of fights that really get me motivated to work even harder to show my skills against a guy like him.
Did you do anything different for this one? I know you have your crew, you have the people that's like family, really. But is there anything that you kind of added to this one as you continue to evolve and progress as an MMA fighter?
Yeah, just constant turn up of my training camps. We see what went wrong in the last fight, and just fine tuning from the training camps and just harder work, I'd say. You know, I always work hard, but it's just we're finding ways to work even harder each time.
Awesome, man. Well, you had me at finisher versus finisher. Can't wait to see it on Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just have one. Sorry. I just want to know what you think about the other middleweight fight that we saw between. Now I'm drawing a blank. Brendan Allen and Marvin Vettori.
Oh man, Marvin's my boy. You know, I'm always backing Marvin in that, and you know, I love Marvin, so I'm always on Marvin's side there. Yeah, I got him winning all the time. Again, definitely, I got him winning if they fight. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you sit with that fire outfit, we got to get the full view, please.
So beautiful.
That Knicks joint you had on?
Well, first of all, don't worry. I won't ask you any weird TikTok trends this time.
How dare you?
I know. But I do want to ask about the Shamu. I think I get the reference, but I'm wondering if you could just explain why you have the orca whale here.
Well, I'm fighting a baby shark, and killer whales are the #1 predator of baby sharks. So that's the whole vibe I'm going for this week.
That's awesome. That's kind of fun. What did you think of the matchup when it first came to you?
I liked it. They gave me a few names, and she was the first person who said yes. So I was really happy about it. Like, I feel like it's another person I can showcase against. One of the newer strawweights in the division. I feel like I do well against them. I feel like they don't have the same experience that I have, so I can take advantage of their mistakes a little easier. And yeah, I think this is another good one to show the level. Oh, I'm sorry. The level that I've gotten to. This is so unprofessional, as I'm talking about having more experience. Yeah, I think this is another fight where I can show that I've just been in the game so long. I know so many things. I've been improving the entire time. I haven't stagnated, and it's easier to show it against people with less experience and with people who've been grinding just as long as you have.
Yeah, and I think your last fight was probably one of the best performances so far of your career. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's what a lot of people are saying. What do you credit that to? Do you credit it just to experience, or was there a change, or what do you credit that performance to?
I think I've just been really focusing on every aspect of fighting, not just being a good striker, not just being, good at scrambling to get up or scrambling to get to a good position. I've been focusing on my submission game as well, focusing on my takedowns, and really thinking of those as game plans, not just as defenses for other people's game plans. So I guess you could say focusing on myself has gotten me to be a bit more successful in my last few, and just show all the skills that I have, because it's not like I just started learning how to grapple, but for whatever reason, I didn't have that confidence in it, and I've been working really hard. If you listen to my interviews from the past 3 or 4 years, I've been making that a priority to work really hard on feeling dangerous everywhere, and I think it's finally coming out.
Thank you.
We get this whole mystique going with the BMF belt, and you have Joanna Champions and Cerrone's of the world, anywhere, anytime. You're about that life. But what's the process like to say, if I'm fighting in the rankings backwards, but let's get the smoke either way. What's that like? Because we don't see too many guys and girls do that. They kind of want to protect that spot and only fight the same or up.
I have nothing to lose. And, I feel confident against the people lower than me. I feel confident against the people higher than me. And I think when someone's holding on to that ranking and not wanting to really budge, they feel like they need more, they feel like they need to swing the luck in their favor. And for me, I feel like I could beat anyone. It's just a matter of coming in with the right mindset, training hard, being ready that day. And I feel like I could do that with anyone. So it's just a matter of putting that on paper and actually showing up and doing what I feel like I can do. And fighting backwards, I think there was a point where Ricci was ranked ahead of me, so it's not like that could change after sitting out for 5 months. I'd rather fight, get paid, hopefully get a win, improve, and move on to the next person.
Absolutely. And you're coming in here with this just tremendous energy. How has it been since that big finish where people just had to put respect on your name and really locked in on you? Were like, wow, watch out for Angie.
It's been a little anticlimactic, to be honest. Everyone's like, she sucked, But she doesn't. She's a really good fighter, and I think it's gonna take a lot of convincing for people to really get behind the fact that, oh, I could potentially fight for the belt eventually, despite like my age, despite how many wins or losses I have in the UFC. I think it's all a matter of putting together a strong portfolio within the last couple of years. And I think I've been able to do that. So I'm just focusing on the fight ahead of me and trying to make sure that every time I get out there, I'm present, I'm in the moment, I'm not thinking too far ahead. And hopefully the fame will come after that. But I'm not really too worried about that. I'm just hoping that eventually I get that shot. And if I don't, I think I'll be able to retire like pretty happy with what I've accomplished. But that's the main goal, is to work my way to the top and see what happens.
Absolutely, I totally agree. We've seen you do business here before. Vegas is almost like a home field. You're like an apex predator. Is that like a little edge that you'll have against your opponent this weekend, or does that not even mean anything? Just that you have been here, done that at the Apex.
I don't know. I had kind of a funk going into the Apex before the last fight. Like I think I was 0-3 at the Apex, and then finally I broke that curse last fight. But it was another thing where I just had to focus on the mental side of the game and focus on not being superstitious about that cage and that arena. There's going to be a lot of times where I have to fight somewhere I don't want to, or I'm not going to get that energy from the crowd, and I have to get over that, especially because it's an easy night, really, compared to flying somewhere crazy. I'm in San Diego, so it's a quick flight. If I had to fly to Brazil or something, you have to worry about, all the stuff that could happen, where to eat, what to do before and after you get to the arena. Here is pretty simple. So I appreciate the Apex for that, just making it an easy fight night. Go in there, fight, focus on that, get the win, and then, go hang out with my dog afterwards.
That's awesome. We've seen more and more family and friends show up. I mean, just last night at Contender Series, somebody's daughter was yelling, punch him in the face.
Yes.
Anyone special coming through to see you fight?
Unfortunately, no, because last time my family came through to the Apex, but it's kind of a trek for them because all my people are on the East Coast. That's why I was hoping if I get a quick finish or if I get an impressive win, I could get on the November card in Madison Square Garden, because that's an easy trip. That's a Chinatown bus away, so all my people can come, And so I'll have a couple people in the stands, but. Hopefully it'll be loud enough.
That's awesome. Last for me, the year's about halfway done. Big wins back at the Apex. Maybe even a November visit. Rep that Knicks jacket.
Hey.
Are we on track for 2024? How has that been as far as like what you envisioned versus what's actually materialized?
We're on track. I would have liked to have my 2 fights in the bag already and be preparing for my third, but. I'm happy that I'm getting the second one before like December, before wintertime, because there's hope that I can get 3 this year. So that's really the goal, is get in there, get a win, don't get hurt, book another fight, keep that campaign going for, getting me up a little higher each time I fight. But so far, I'm just really happy with the way I performed last time, and just the way I showed up in the fight and the fact that I was listening, I was doing everything. I felt like my corner worked like a well-oiled machine, and I'm just, I'm hoping for that again. I'm hoping I could, land on that again, and just, I feel like I got something good going on right now.
Man, great energy. Can't wait to see you on Saturday, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Feeling that shirt, man. It's like a silverback right there.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. I got it for my birthday.
Well, happy birthday, sir. What's the vibe like? What's the energy? Another, main event. Let's go. What's going on?
Another main event. So, yes, another 5 rounds. Add to the book. Maybe one of these days I'll have the all-time, record for time in the octagon or main events at the Apex. If I can, I'm close to beating Sean Strickland. Somebody had made me aware of. He's got 5 main events in the Apex. After this one, it'll be 4 for me. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. And you know what I love about this is that I know a couple months ago wasn't the greatest thing, but you're turned right back around. What was that thought process like? Did you have to get with the team and say, look, man, I need to get this off my chest. I need to right this wrong. I need to get in there ASAP.
Well, it was nothing like that. I just didn't want any layoffs, or you know what I mean. Coming off of a year layoff, surgery, and all that other stuff, I just didn't want any long layoffs. And thankfully, the UFC listened to me. They heard me in whatever interviews I had done. I can't remember, but that was my sentiment after the fight, and I'm pretty sure I voiced that in a few interviews. But I'm happy that they listened to me because this isn't the only. This fight is relatively short notice, given that it's 5. I got offered at 5 weeks out, but they had offered me another short notice fight before that, so they were really listening when they were talking about getting me. When I was talking about getting back in there quick.
Wow, man. So potentially, when could you have come back?
The Denver card. Yeah, they offered me Kevin Holland. But at the time, I was a little too fat to accept that fight on short notice at Elevation. So unfortunately, I had to decline. But, I'm happy that they offered me that fight. Given the circumstances after the last fight, I hadn't been training, I had been traveling. And I don't know, something in the food that I'm not used to just plumped me up big time, man, because the number shot up, and I couldn't take that fight in in confidence, knowing that I weighed that much. I've never made a cut like that in 3 weeks, so I wasn't going to start now.
That's what's up, man. And thank you for the brutal honesty. What did we take away from that last fight? I know it's water under the bridge now, but what did you come out with it? Because you're the type to always learn something, win or lose.
Mm-hmm. So as far as my performance goes, I guess I feel like I started out well in the fight, but I feel like I may have stagnated a little bit, towards the end of the second and into the third. And then we saw how that fight ended. That among other things, I'm always working on being better. And these fights show me, hey, these are the things that you need to work on, what I'm saying, like right now, because these are real-time tests, if you will. So just trying to be a better fighter as far as my performance go.
That's what's up. And someone who will for sure make you a better fighter and test you. What were the thoughts? What was the reaction when that name came across on that contract?
I was maybe a sense of familiarity, I guess, because he had called me out before. He's been wanting to fight me for, I think, about a year. I think first time I've heard him call me out. So, I thought it was cool, you know what I mean? I feel like, I feel like it's a compliment, especially the way he did it. It was respectful, you know what I'm saying? He acknowledged my my level, I guess, my skill level, you know what I'm saying that he wanted to go up against that and make his way towards the title and stuff. So he voiced his opinion, and we all heard, and the UFC offered. So at this point in time, coming off of the loss, I guess I'm more inclined to take a fight lower in the rankings.
That's what's up, man. And there is a lot of respect. He spoke very highly of you. There's no animosity. He just wants to smoke respectfully. UFC put respect on your name, putting you on this main card. Does that kind of give you a little pep in your step and say, you know what? Okay, I'm acknowledged. I put in the time. I've been here. I'm a vet. And do you guys see that?
I guess so. If I want to just stare at myself in the mirror and pat myself on the back and tell myself what a good boy I am, But I don't really think like that along those lines. You know what I mean? It's always I'm losing my train of thought here. But anyway, it's nice. It's always good to get in these main events. You know what I mean? A little extra money, little higher profile. It's definitely better for my career. I'm always thinking about how it's going to benefit me. You know what I mean? So I can't remember the question.
All good. Last for me, main event. You're on the poster again, defending that ranking. What are the keys to victory? How do we get the job done this weekend?
Focus on my performance. Focus on myself. And go in there and handle my business. You know, be clean, be sharp, be precise, be intentful. I have to be mentally sound, mentally present, you know, because that's going to be the driving force. You know, my mental focus, and that's going to be the driving force in this thing.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it, and good luck on Saturday, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Jared. Just wanted your thoughts on UFC 305 and Dricus Du Plessis' win over Israel.
I thought it was a good win, naturally. And it was one of the ways I thought that fight could go. So, they both look good. You know what I mean? Very competitive fight, especially early on. And then as soon as Dricus started getting more into the wrestling, he started finding more of a way. And eventually slapped on that choke. You know what I mean? On top of that, his kicks looked very well. He worked very well for him in that fight, hurt him. Rocked him maybe a few times. I know one clear time he may have rocked him a little bit. So, yeah, very impressive from both fighters. I thought they both looked good.
As someone, who studies the game and, how does Dricus keep doing this? Like, he's so unorthodox. He's weird, but he keeps winning, and he's a champion.
Well, there's a will, there's a way. I think we heard the same sentiment when Sean Strickland was a champion, and they weren't the first, and they probably won't be the last. So I can't wait to hear what they're going to say when I'm the champion.
Who do you think DDP should fight next? The sentiment is Dana thinks Sean Strickland should get it next. Dricus thinks Robert should get it next. Hamzat's there. What do you think?
Well, Robert's been there. You know what I mean? Strickland is there. So I think you already have, I don't know. My sentiments, I don't know. I think Robert definitely deserves. There's no denying that he doesn't deserve a title shot. If it were the next title shot, you know what I mean? He deserves it. So, Strickland deserves it too because that fight was closely contested and it's not an instant rematch at this point. He won his fight prior to that, his fight after that. So, but with Robert booked up with Hamzat, right? If Robert wins, I think he should definitely get it. If Hamzat wins, I would be more inclined to give the title shot to Strickland.
Awesome.
So.
Well, thank you for your matchmaking.
Yeah, you're welcome. You'll get my bill in the mail.
I'm just curious. There was another middleweight fight last weekend that was kind of on the down low between Brendan Allen and Marvin Vettori in the casino. Did you hear about that?
I saw a little snippet of that on the internet.
I'm just curious what you thought of it.
I just scrolled on and went about my business. Boys will be boys. You get them out there in the wild, they may have a little scrap up, a little dust up here and there, and it is what it is. I don't know what it's about. I don't care why or who was involved, as long as nobody got seriously injured. I hope these guys' jobs aren't really affected, but there you go.
Thank you.
What were your thoughts on Jose Delgado's contract-winning performance.
Now we're getting to the good stuff. Where do I begin? It was just beautiful to watch my guy do his thing in there. I've watched Jose for, I think he's been at the lab for 3 years, maybe longer, 4 or 5 years, I don't know. But just to watch him come in and throw himself into the program, ask questions, see who's who and what's what, and try to figure out what do I want for myself. And I've watched him, you know what I'm saying, see the skills he's trying to acquire from each source that we have. We can tap into at the MMA lab and wherever else he's doing his thing at, seeing how he carries himself. Nobody deserves it more than Jose Delgado. So it was just wonderful to watch him go on the run he's gone on. You know, he suffered a loss that was really hard for him, I assume. And I remember he said these words distinctly to me or to us, or I can't remember. I remember hearing him say these words, "I'll never let that happen again." And since then, he's been a whirlwind. Whenever the ref says go, it's been very entertaining, to say the least, but very inspiring, awe-inspiring, and a whole bunch of beautiful words I can come up with. But yes, man, I'm happy for the guy, and I want to do my part, the best that I can, to help him establish himself in this UFC as one of the best who's ever going to be able to, who's ever done this.
What's it going to take for Eric McConaughey to get his shot?
Keep doing what he's doing. He's grinding it out as well, you know? So absolutely. These are, yes. Where are you getting your information from, dude? He's asking me all these personal questions, man. Yeah, man. The team has grown big time, and Eric is doing very well. I'm very happy to have him on the team. He's helped me grow. I've helped him grow. We keep going back and forth. So it's like Goku and Vegeta up in there, you know what I mean? So it's awesome to have him, to have Alec, to have Bruce, to have Julian in there as well, to have all the guys who are on the team, big and small, you know what I mean? So all the ladies on the team, Leslie Hernandez, I don't know if you're going to ask me about her next, but she's going to be doing her thing. You know, the team is growing as far as in the light, the team is growing. But what we do behind those doors is just beautiful to me. It's sacred to me, you know? So, yeah, it's, and it's something that I would protect, you know what I mean, with my life if it came down to it. So, I love the lab. I love what we're doing. I'm loving how they help me grow, what they show me about myself, and I'm happy to contribute to that in other people's lives.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome to Fight Week. How does it feel?
Feels good. It feels. I'm normally sitting on that side watching my teammates, so it's a dream come true to be on this side now.
Does this whole Fight Week feel kind of like a dream, or does it feel like you're here, it's reality, or does it still kind of feel like not real?
Oh, it's definitely real. I mean, like I said, I've been on the other side of this, so I've seen this over and over and over again, and I've played it over in my head, and I put myself in these shoes a lot of times before. So being here on this side, it feels natural. Feels like I'm supposed to be here.
What was the whole experience like for you on Tough?
It was tough, that's for sure. It was great. It put me out of my element, put me in a place that I can grow a lot. I think discomfort makes you grow a lot more, and I feel like that was definitely where I was. Valentin showed that she was going to do a fight camp, like a real training camp, and I grew a lot from it. Most of my stuff comes from more of a wrestling base, and hers was a lot of Muay Thai style. Getting out of my element, fighting people that or training with people that I might fight later on, and then becoming friends with them, and then learning a lot from them after that. And then being in the Apex, training here, I mean, I feel at home now. I've coached 5 times here, and I've fought a jiu-jitsu tournament or a jiu-jitsu match here, and then I fought twice here, and most of them have been successful. So I feel like the Apex is a great place for me to win.
In that first episode, I believe it was the first, Valentina announced that no water policy, and it went viral. Everyone went crazy. What were your thoughts on that?
Normally I don't really drink water during practice. It's not like a big thing for me. I normally drink a lot of water before practice anyway. And then there was only one time that she said it. If people wanted water, they could get it, and she never was like, oh, no, you can't get water. But most of the people just listened, and I didn't get water, and it just made you a little bit more mentally tough, I think.
I've been asking all the guys, was there anything that you felt like should have been shown or wish had been shown that didn't get shown on the show?
I mean, there was so much content. Like, we were there for a month, had mics on us the entire time. There is a lot more, I think there's a lot more in-depth conversations that we had as teammates that weren't shown. One thing that I did that I really wanted to show was how much breath work and meditation and stretching and like all the extra stuff that helps mentally, because I feel like that the show, like Dana White said, is a pressure cooker. So having journaling, meditating, and doing breath work really helped me through that. And I think showing that and showing like, hey, if you're in a tough spot, if you're in like a depression or you're going through stuff that you need to maybe just take a minute and do some breath work and kind of settle down and get inside yourself a little bit. And I think being present really helped. So I wish they showed more of that.
What was the hardest part for you in the show?
I think the hardest part was not having my teammates, my family, and my coaches around me. Normally, I'm always either texting somebody or on the phone with somebody if I have any doubts or anything like that. I have a mental coach that calls me up. I have tons of teammates that always make sure that I'm okay, and I do the same for them. So there's a huge support system that was taken away when the phones and everything. One part of the show, they showed my whole family, and it was a hard moment because before that I was in the moment, like I have to keep a straight face, and then I saw all my family, and it was tough to see those people again.
What do you think of the matchup ahead of you?
I'm excited for it. Yeah, I feel great for the matchup. They didn't show this either. I told Dana White that when he was like, okay, who do you want to fight? And I said Omaron for the first one, but all 3 of them are bad matchups for me. They're all strikers, and I'm a wrestler. I got to dictate where the fight goes, and that's the ultimate.
And looking ahead at your potential UFC career, what are some immediate goals after this fight?
I take it one fight at a time. I don't really look at what's next. I feel like that sometimes overwhelms me. I did it from the very beginning. It was, I'm going to take one amateur fight, and then after that, if I feel like it, I'm going to take another one. And here I am taking another one. So we'll talk about that when I'm done with this fight and when I get my contract, and that's where I feel about that.
Awesome. I'll ask you again on Saturday night.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. How dare you?
I know.
Welcome to Fight Week. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Oh, Mike.
Come on, you know how to do this.
Sorry, I thought
Yeah,
had
yeah.
some special mics in here or something. I'm feeling great.
Does this feel real to you yet, or is it still kind of a dream?
Nah, now it feels real. Before in the house and that whole experience still didn't feel real, but now it feels real. Now I believe in myself. Now I believe that I was meant to be here this whole time.
What was that experience like for you in the house?
For me, it was probably the best experience I've had in my whole life. Being able to have no distractions, complete focus, just martial arts. Training, fighting, eating, martial arts. No phone, electronics. That to me, that was the best experience that I could have had, and I don't think I'll ever be able to experience that again. But I thrived from it, and it's really leveled me up, both in many ways.
What was the hardest part for you?
There was nothing hard about it.
Really? That's awesome. What do you think of this matchup? What do you think of your opponent?
I respect Myron. I think that he's young, talented. He was already meant to be signed to the UFC before, so he's already been on the UFC's radar. So, I'm happy to be in the finale with a prospect.
When you first came in the house and you started seeing everybody, is this who you pictured in the finals with you?
I didn't really picture anyone in the finals with me. Going into the house, I was prepared to fight anybody. So, and always had like a glimpse. I had a thought that I could be fighting my own teammates as well. So, as much as we Team Grasso kept it friendly and family, I still knew in the back of my mind that I could have been fighting any one of these guys.
What was the biggest thing that you learned from the coaches there?
The biggest thing that I learned from the coaches is really believing in myself. I really respect the coaching team for giving me the space to be able to do what I do. They didn't try and teach me anything new. They didn't tell me how to do anything their way. They said, listen, you know how to fight. You're a professional. Whatever you need, you let us know, and we're going to assist you. So the fact that we got to have that space and that luxury was really big for me.
Was there anything that they didn't show on the show that you wish that they had?
Kind of, actually. I don't want to brag on about it, but I did break Nathan's leg from me kicking him, but then ESPN circled the wrong leg as if he kicked my leg, and it's not a. I like Nathan. I don't want any bad towards him, like no ill towards him or anything like that. But I just wanted the truth out there. So yeah, that's it.
That's a pretty big one. Yeah. I don't know if you're the type to kind of look forward too far, but have you looked at what you'd like your career to look like in the UFC? Have you thought about, your UFC debut or things like that, or are you just going one step at a time?
No. I've already pre-planned my career. I'm 31 years old. I've been doing this for a long time, and after this fight, I'd like to be a backup fight for Diego Lopez and Ortega. It's pretty soon. It's only like 3 weeks after, but I'm here. And when we were talking about this fight, I thought it was going to be in the Sphere, and I always had the dream of fighting on the moon. So when the Sphere ended up happening and Grasso and Shevchenko was fighting on it, I was like, cool, the finale is going to be at the Sphere. Amazing. My dreams have come true. Not the case, but hey, I'm down for it. If I'm healthy, I'm all good. If something does happen with them, I respect the both of them, but I'm here. And I don't know if the UFC will do something like that, but I just want to let them know that I'm up for it.
When you have that kind of a plan in mind, does that mean that you need to get a really spectacular finish on Saturday night to make that happen? Or for you just want the win?
I think becoming the Ultimate Fighter is spectacular on its own. So, put that aside. I want to be fighting in the top 15, top 10 guys right away. I don't care about fighting my contract out or anything like that and renegotiating. I simply just want to climb the ranks as fast as possible. I believe in myself. I believe I'm a top 10 fighter already. So no time to waste.
Thank you.